Welcome back. Let's begin the actual installation and deployment process. So the first thing we'd like to do here is to clone the KubeNow repository from GitHub, git clone, and then the path to the KubeNow repository, cd in there, and then get the latest version by doing git checkout and experimental / local vagrant. And now we cd into the KubeNow. Oh, I'm sorry, we're actually inside. So what we do now is we have a look at the vagrant file. Quite interesting things here that I'd like you to have a look at. The first thing I'd like you to have a look at is the version of vagrant. This requires version greater than or equal 1.9.1. The second thing is the cluster prefix. This word here, KubeNow, is going to be the first word in the host names in your cluster, so you can feel free to change it. I'm going to keep it as KubeNow, but you can say maybe my cluster or something like that. The SSH port, I recommend to leave it as is, so 3001. And then in the current version, only one master node is supported, so we'll leave the master settings as they are. Maybe we can change maybe the number of CPUs here, or the amount of RAM, 1500, this is in megabytes. We will see the master count here, so we leave it as 1, as you can see here. Leave it as 1. And again, we leave just one edge node, 1500 megabytes of RAM and 2 CPUs. Feel free to change the number of CPUs again. And then for the worker nodes, we're going to have 5 worker nodes, 4 gigabytes memory for each of them, and 3 CPUs. Let's say we're going to have 4 CPUs. And then this port 8080, the guest port 80 forward, so the idea here is that to use port 8080 for both Galaxy and Jupiter, so we'll leave that as is. And then if you think you're comfortable enough and you know what you're doing with Vagrant, then feel free to go down, look at the settings, maybe change some of the stuff that you think is worth changing. Otherwise, leave it as is and just change maybe, like I mentioned before, the settings for CPU, RAM, and number of worker nodes. Apart from that, just save and do sudo vagrant up and let it do its work, and just wait a few minutes and your cluster should be up and running. It begins with the master node, so this is going to take a few minutes. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to pause the video and probably see you in the middle or see you when it finishes. This is worthy of coffee if you're a coffee drinker like myself. Welcome back. So we're still in the middle of the cluster being created. As you can see here, it began with the master node, kubemaster01, creates the virtual machine, and then it configures it. Green means good. After it finishes, it moves on to the edge node, KubeNow edge01, again some configuration. It imports the base box from KubeNow/KubeNow. You don't have to worry where that's coming from, but it basically downloads it and it does all the configuration. Green means good, so it joins the master and then moves on to the worker nodes. The first worker node, it finishes it, moves on to the second worker node. Again, let me pause here and I'll see you when it finishes. And by the way, regarding coffee, I've actually made myself a cup of tea, so let me finish it and see you when the 5 worker nodes are done. Welcome back. So the installation now has finished. We've got a cluster of 1 master node, 1 edge node, and 5 worker nodes. To check that, we can do vagrant global status, and that should give us a list of the virtual machines that are running, KubeNow master 1, edge, and the 5 worker nodes. One interesting thing we can do here to make sure things are working properly is we can do something like vagrant SSH, and then we can SSH into the KubeNow master, KubeNow master 01, and now we're inside the master. To double check that Kubernetes is running properly, we can do a command like kubectl get pods, so something like this, kubectl get pods -- all namespaces, and then we get a list like this. So you can see here we've got a container that is still being created, so everything is not finished completely yet. And there you go. So the cluster now is up and running. I think I'm going to stop here, and in the next video we'll actually deploy the core components of the stack. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.